Welcome to the show. I am James Swanwick, and imagine going to a wedding, a bachelor party, an engagement party. Imagine going on a trip to Mexico where it's a 7-star resort and it's all inclusive, all you can drink, all you can eat, all that kind of good stuff, and you choose to be alcohol free. Does that seem like an absolute nightmare to you? Does it seem like a really big challenge? Be really hard for you not to partake in alcohol because you've got friends around you who are celebrating, having fun, there's free booze. Sounds challenging, could be challenging. Surprisingly, it wasn't that challenging for our guest today. Wonderful man by the name of Inderpal Johal, who's 37. He works in finance and he's a real estate investor from Pleasant Hill, California, and that's about 45 minutes east of San Francisco in the East Bay area. He's a baseball fan. He supports two teams, which is a little greedy, I have to say, San Francisco Giants and the Oakland A's. And as we recorded this, he's 100 days alcohol-free. He joined us in our Project 90 experience on July 11th, 2021, and he was drinking too much. Joined our program, learned how to rewire his brain around alcohol, and partook in all of those things I just mentioned: a wedding, bachelor party, engagement party, trip away to San Lucas in Mexico, a hiking trip, and he was alcohol-free. And I'll let him share the story, but suffice to say, he said that he has felt truly happier at these social events being alcohol-free, and he no longer feels the pressure to have a drink. He also turned down a 40-year-old bottle of Scotch, which apparently cost about $5,000. That's the power of being alcohol-free and loving it. If you haven't received my Alcohol Freedom Formula guide, I invite you to get a free copy. You can go to alcoholfreelifestyle.com/guide, and I will send it out to you. And if you'd like to have a 15-minute exploratory phone call with the Project 90 top coach, Victoria English, just to see if or how Project 90 may be able to support you if your intention is to go alcohol-free and you're over the age of 35 and you consider yourself a high performer, then I invite you to have that conversation with Coach Victoria. You can go to alcoholfreelifestyle.com/schedule, or if you're in the US on a mobile phone, you can text the word Project 90 to the number 44222, and we'll text you back a link where you can schedule that 15-minute chat with Coach Victoria English. All right, for now, let's listen to Inderpal Johal's story. Here he is. So you and your friends got presented with a 5-year-old bottle of $5,000 Scotch at this, was it an engagement party this weekend, Inderpal? Tell us about it.
So James, it was a 40-year-old bottle of Glenfiddich.
Oh, wow.
And it cost $5,000. And yes, it was at my friend's wedding, one of my best friend's wedding. And so since I was a groomsman, he presented us, one, to start with a video of all the moments we've shared over the last 20 years together. And then he came out with a bottle and said, this is, you guys are such a special group of friends to me that I wanted to do something special for you. And he presented us a 40-year-old bottle of Glenfiddich Scotch. I believe it's one of the rarest bottles out there.
And so you're 100 days alcohol-free today, and he's presenting you and your friends with this beautiful bottle of Scotch. I say beautiful in inverted commas. What did you feel in that moment?
I felt unsure of what I was going to do. I did not know that was going to be the gift. I knew coming into that evening that he had something that he wanted to do for us. And I heard it was going to be really nice, special. And I didn't know. I thought maybe we were going to get some Rolex watches. I didn't know. And so when he pulled out the bottle of Scotch, I was like, whoa, wow, I have to make a decision. I think it was very easy for everyone else to know what they were going to do. And for me, it crossed my mind. Do I take a sip? Do I have a drink? And then I decided, no, I'm going to have a glass of water and cheers with them. And I think for me, that was a huge moment to, confirm like what path I'm on, and also for my friends to realize, wow, Inderpal really is not drinking.
Yeah. And so did you all toast and they all had a shot of this scotch, or they drank, not a shot, but they drank the scotch and you drank water. And so that's what happened?
And that's exactly what happened. I had a glass of water. There's one other friend that is part of our groomsmen that has never drank in his life, so he also had water. And then all 8 other guys drank, had glasses of scotch.
Yeah, got it. And so as you were drinking the water and they were drinking the scotch, what were you feeling? I get what you were feeling in that moment when it was first offered, but then when the actual drinking of the scotch was taking place and you were drinking the water, what were you feeling and thinking?
There was a bit of curiosity. I did ask a few friends. I said, "How does it taste?" And I asked them because I've had scotch before. That was my preferred, drink of choice, uh, in certain moments. And so I was curious, like, how does it taste? And they said, "Oh, it tastes, you know, a certain way. It tastes a little fruity or whatnot." And after that, like, I really didn't think twice about it. Like, there was no like regret. I mean, not one piece of regret that I didn't drink it. It was more so just like, and my friend came and apologized, like, "Hey, I didn't realize, like, I know you've been on this journey, but I didn't know you weren't going to drink." And I said, "Look, man, I should be thanking you." And I did. I said, "Thank you for presenting with this, because even though I didn't drink, I appreciate like what you did for us as a group." And I said, "That is more meaningful than anything." And I said, "I'm just glad to be here during this moment with the groomsmen." And really, that's how I felt.
Yeah, I reckon he should have bought you all Rolexes instead, to be honest.
I would have loved a Rolex. I would have loved that.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. I mean, and that must have felt really good for you to be offered this $5,000 scotch and to be offered it in a way where there are, like there were other people around there. Your friends were there. So the social pressure or the obligation that you may have felt to drink, to participate, because everyone's doing it, right? Except for the one other friend who wasn't. For you to actually then decline that confidently and not feel like you're depriving yourself of fun must have felt really good.
It felt powerful. It felt like, the timing of this was very interesting. I just finished the Project 90 program, and, now I'm kind of like out there, on my own, so to speak. And I felt like this was like a pivotal point. It wasn't just a glass of beer that I can get any other day. It was a, bottle that I may never had the chance to drink again. But I made that decision, and I felt really good about it. I felt power. And I think it's because of the tools that you provided me that I was able to do that.
Mm. So how did you get to this point where you felt powerful and you were able to politely decline the invitation of drinking $5,000 scotch? So what were the tools that you learned going through the Project 90 process?
The tools for me were focusing on all the positive of being alcohol free. And that's what you taught us. You taught us, hey, like, let's not look at, alcohol, or, people who drink alcohol as a bad thing. Let's just focus on ourselves, and then on the positive of being alcohol free, which is, better sleep, better energy, better focus, clarity, more potential in life. And as I started to focus on those things, but more importantly, feel those things through the 90 days, it was really easy to start continuing to go in this path. And that moment, I had already felt all those things over the past, 100 days, that it wasn't that hard of a decision for me to say, hey, I want to continue on this amazing path of feeling great, of having full energy, of enjoying life to the max. And that's what it was.
Mm. And during your time with us, you actually went to a wedding, a bachelor party, an engagement party. You went to San Lucas in Mexico, I think it was, on a trip where there's alcohol flowing. Yeah, how did you navigate those events alcohol free?
I'll tell you, it was kind of what you told us. Don't hide from them. Don't avoid them. Go attack them head on. And that initially for me was the hardest part. I remember my first week of the program, that weekend there were social events. And I almost felt like, do I go? What do I do when I get there? And I was just learning from you at that point and learning from the group and the coaches and the members. And I decided my brother called me out because he didn't know. I didn't tell him what path I was on, but he kind of knew I was avoiding the event. And he said, "Are you seriously going to avoid this birthday party?" And he's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, no, no, I'll be there." But I was kind of avoiding it. And then I decided, yeah, why am I? It's all the people I love. It's all my closest friends. And so, I got ready. I went over there. I went there with a smile on my face and basically just focused on the people that were there and having a good time. I didn't focus on the alcohol. I had a glass in my hand the whole time. I think it was kind of like cheating because everyone was drinking out of red cups and I was drinking out of a red cup too, except for I had water. So no one really asked what I was drinking. Um, it was only when people would say, "Hey, let's go take a shot." I was like, "Oh no, yeah, let's go," and then I'd slide away. That was my first social event. And that same day, I actually had two events. In the afternoon, I was in San Francisco, and it was a Korean barbecue style at my friend's house, and they were taking shots of soju, and I continued to decline. And then they asked me, "Are you not drinking?" And I said, "No, I'm not drinking." And then one friend looked at me, he goes, "Man, Endo," he's like, "That's really good." And I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that, but I was like, "Oh, thanks." And I could tell him genuinely looking at me, wishing he wasn't drinking it as well. And so that was my first weekend. And so I got through two social events just using the tools of, you know, I'm gonna be the happiest person at this party. I'm gonna enjoy this party more than anyone else. And going in there with that mindset allowed me to really make the most of
Mm,
the party. And
fantastic.
yeah, and then with that under my belt, with those two experiences under my belt, the Cabo San Lucas trip, it was a bachelor party, came at me fairly fast. I was maybe 2 weeks into the program, and I was happy that I had that under my belt because going into the bachelor party was really a little stressful for me because now it's my closest group of friends. We're going to basically a 4 or 5 day party at an all-inclusive resort, a high-end 7-star, resort in Cabo
Wow.
that has top of the line liquor, food, everything. And
Wow.
I and I basically just drank, virgin pina coladas and water the whole weekend. And I think my friends that at that point realized I was actually doing something real for myself, and it wasn't just, hey, I'm not drinking this weekend. It was I'm making a change for my life.
Mm. Were there times during your 7-star hotel weekend away, all inclusive booze fest party weekend where you were like, let me order Scotch here?
You know what? I'll say, James, like, you early on said one of your favorites to do is have some soda water on the rocks with a little bit of lime or lemon. And I tried it. That was the first place I tried it because they had bars there. And so you can order that. And so the first night when we were there, after we, got off the flight, got to the hotel, changed and went out, we met this beautiful group of ladies and they were hanging out by the bar and they were also they were on a bachelorette party. And so we're hanging out with them. And there's a little bit of pressure. Everyone's drinking. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be the guy that's not. And I said, let me get that drink. And so I got a soda water with some ice in it. And one, it tasted good. So I was like, oh, this is pretty good. And two, as I was talking to some of them, they found out I wasn't drinking, some of the girls, and they said, "Oh, our friend Courtney over here doesn't drink as well." And I'm like, "Oh, wow, let me go talk to her." And she was awesome. And like, what I realized was it wasn't any pressure from either my friends or from them. They were like, "Oh, that's cool. Yeah, our friend over there doesn't drink either." Like it was no big deal. And I thought that was pretty cool. And I think that was helpful. Yeah, definitely. I looked at some of the bottles that they had that they were offering. I was like, oh, yeah. interesting time not to be drinking, but um, never felt the need for it.
Yeah. Then when you woke up each of the mornings that you were on that particular trip, what were you feeling or thinking, and what did you observe some of the other guests were thinking or feeling, if they communicated that to you, obviously?
Yeah, I mean, so there was eight of us friends there, and so this was a fairly expensive resort. So what we did was we two of us shared a room, so they had two queen beds in each room. So I definitely saw what it did to others because I shared a room with some of my friends. And so for me, it was like, okay, I'm gonna make the most of every morning as well, and not just every night going out and partying. Like I partied just as much or more than some of my closest friends that were there with me. But I also woke up each morning and thought, oh, I heard there's a really good cafe on this property that has really good macaroons and coffee and other things. So I got to explore some of those things, have some great breakfast, walk around the property. Also, just if I wanted to sleep in as well, or read a book. So I definitely enjoyed certain things that maybe others didn't, and then also get out to the pool. They had a beautiful pool there, and I would say like my friends enjoyed those things. I went to the cafes with my friends and the pools with my friends, but they probably weren't in the same state of mind. They were probably coming off their hangover or had a headache while they were hanging out in the pool versus me. I felt just full of energy and like, my focus and clarity. And I'd say being able to take in everything and all the moments was different than maybe what they were experiencing.
Mm. Yeah.
And I'll say one of the first events we did, we got there on Thursday, Friday afternoon. We had a pool party set up at Omni in Cabo, and of course we're ordering, bottles. We have table service, bottle service, whatever you call it. And here I am now. I've experienced plenty of bottle services. But here I am at a bottle service, not drinking. But I never said, "Hey guys, I don't want to pay" or anything like that. No, not at all. I said, "Let me pay. I'm going to enjoy this just as much as you guys, probably more, because as we have our cabana, we have our private pool, and all the group of friends are there. We have other friends, other people we're meeting at the event. We're having a blast. The music's great. We're dancing, and I'm starting to feel more comfortable there in this environment too, right? Because now that pressure is kind of going off my shoulders. I'm realizing no one really cares. One, and they're more concerned about like what they're drinking. And two, say halfway into the event, you see one of my friends crashed on the couch in the cabana because he drank too much, and now he's no longer enjoying the pool, the conversations, the music, the party. You know, and that is what it is. I mean, at that point, you got to be able to, I guess, drink responsibly if you're gonna drink. And I guess some people can't, but overall, it was. I think that really was the time where I fully let loose because I was like, I'm here now, and this is what we're doing, and I just had a blast.
So good. You work in finance and you're a real estate investor.
Yeah.
How was your work performance affected from when you were drinking, and then how did it change from when you became alcohol free?
Yeah, great question, James. It definitely affected my performance. I never was drinking on a daily basis, but I definitely drank on the weekends. And when I would drink, we would drink hard. We would go out, and it was more so just social, going out to parties, going to breweries, and just drinking to drink. And so I would have headaches. I would have hangovers. Sundays would be rough. And then Mondays would be rough. Sundays, I wouldn't go to the gym like I usually would like to. I'd stay on the couch and watch some TV because it's passing time until my hangover is done. Mondays would be at about 65%. I'd be feeling a little better. I'd be able to get myself in my chair and knock out some work, but still feeling sluggish and a headache. Tuesday, I'd be about 90%, and then Wednesday back to 100. And there you go. I'm 2 days away from the weekend again and doing it all over. So it was definitely affecting my performance. And, you know, I'll say like work events have a lot of alcohol too. They're basically catered around alcohol and food and good food. And, I work in San Francisco, so there's plenty of good spots. We do some social events out through work. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if I was my best self in those events either. Like I could have potentially been a little sloppy at times. And, that's a different way of affecting work performance. And so I think being alcohol free now, I've realized there's nothing holding me back. I can actually fully invest into my work and really take it to the next level, and really nothing holding me back. I have no excuses.
Mm. Can you make any projections as to how much better you may perform, or maybe you already have performed, either in finance or in real estate investing?
Yes, definitely. I mean, just this past week, I was at a wedding, my best friend's wedding, and then I'm Indian, so our weddings aren't one day. Our weddings are 5 days, full of events, and every event has a lot of alcohol and a lot of food and a lot of dancing. So I was there since Wednesday, and from Wednesday I was there through Sunday, and I didn't take a day off of work, and so that's how it affected my work. I was able to fully attend every event, fully enjoy every event, and still do my work. I told my colleague that I was going to be at a wedding event, and I said I'm going to be working at different hours, and he totally understood and was open to it. But I was able to do that because in my work, I'm a consultant in finance. So if I work, I get paid, and if I don't work, I don't get paid, and I like to get paid. So for me, I was able to do these events. If I was drinking at these events, would I be able to come back to my hotel room and knock out a couple hours of work? Probably not. But I was able to do that. And so I enjoyed the wedding festivities and time with my friends and dancing and eating to the fullest. And I got my work done to the fullest. And so it was like the best of both worlds. Some people couldn't believe I was doing that. And I was like, what do you mean? There's nothing to believe or not believe. I'm doing it. And it was just literally taking my laptop and my mouse and stuff with me there, and my notepad, and knocking out work every day. And did I work 8 hours a day? No, but I didn't need to. I was efficient enough in the time that I had, with the clarity that I had, with the energy that I had, to knock it out in less time, and then continue on to enjoy the festivities.
Mm.
And just to wrap that up, I had a meeting at 7:30 a.m. on Monday, following the wedding, to kind of touch base on my work. And my colleague had nothing but great things to say, and was so pleased with the work, and was so happy that I was helping take a ton of work off his plate. So it all turned out really well.
So good. So how has your mind been rewired around alcohol since going through this process? Like, through what lens are you looking at alcohol now?
James, I can't thank you enough. I really can't. I am so happy to be in the position that I'm in now, because I'm realizing how much more I enjoy events that do have alcohol, because I don't feel I didn't enjoy drinking to a point where I don't feel good. And a lot of social events get to that point where, I'm drinking and I'm not feeling good. And then people are still asking to take shots, and then you're feeling pressure. And if you don't take it, you're this or you're that. And now I don't have to deal with any of that. And I feel happy. I feel great that I'm enjoying the moment. And, I don't try to pressure anyone. I don't try to say to anyone else that they should do this too. I keep this to myself. I'm doing this for me. But I will say I am shocked by how many people have been inspired literally by me not drinking. Just yesterday, I received a text from someone I haven't talked to maybe in about a month and a half, saying I've been alcohol free for 30 days. And they did that because the last time I saw them, I was alcohol free, and they were inspired by it. And I was shocked to see that text. And I said, great job. I said, keep it going. I said, I feel better. I'm exercising more. And, my view on it is really just it's not for me. And what is for me is water, is healthy lifestyle, is happiness. And those things I found more of being alcohol free.
Congratulations, mate. Anything else you think that was noteworthy, or anything that you might want to communicate to our listener who's listening to you
Yeah.
now?
Yeah. I mean, my I guess you can say advice, maybe not, but if anyone's thinking about doing it, like, I've told a few friends who mentioned that they want to do it. I would say, look, a lot of it is just social pressure. And so try to go one event, one social event coming up. Just say, hey, I'm not going to drink alcohol this birthday party or this event at the bar or whatever it may be, and see how you feel. You might feel amazing and realize that, hey, it's possible. I think, given the tools that you provided to us, it really helped me to be able to do that. And once I got through social events with different social groups, now that they all know I don't drink, it's not an issue anymore. It's not something that I fear. It's not something I avoid because my friends really don't care. And if they did care, then maybe I didn't have the right friends. If they pressured me and called me names or said things or try to trick me into drinking, then honestly, those probably wouldn't have been the best friends. But I've had nothing but support, and basically feel very blessed that my friends have actually said, "Wow, and Paul, you're doing the right thing for yourself," and they've all said like they're proud of me. So I would say if anyone's thinking about it, to like definitely give it a shot. Your program, honestly, James, has helped change my life. Like I heard a quote this weekend. At the wedding, I believe it's Ralph Emerson, that's his name. That like, if you can change one person's life, it's a life worth living. And like, I really feel so blessed, James, because you did that for me. Your program, you, Victoria, Sarah, have all been so great. And like, you've really done that for me. And I was thinking about that when I heard that this weekend. I was like, man, that's me right here. They changed my life for the better. So I really, really thank you for that.
Oh, you're so welcome, Inderpal, and thank you so much for the kind words. And thank you as well for supporting other people in the group, which you did. And you were there not just getting the coaching, but also providing the coaching in the form of support for others. And so thanks for playing full out and for being such a positive influence to others in our community.
Yeah, definitely. Happy to have done so.
All right. Inderpal Johal, congratulations. Thanks so much for joining us. And long may it continue, sir.
Thank you, James. Really, really, really appreciate it.